Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to the program, January 2024. We're doing one a month for the next month, meaning January. It's probably the last time I'm only going to do one. Thanks for being patient, everybody. Patreon.com/winners and losers. Support my work. Support my one a month podcast. Thank you so much. No, that's not true. I've been working on other stuff that people on Patreon are going to be interested in hearing about. Yeah, it's January now. I wasn't actually planning on doing a show today, as is evidenced by me letting my beard grow out. You can see the shapings of what's left of the wreckage. Honestly, you know, with my luck, it's not all gonna go. It's gonna stop in the I wouldn't call this the mid. It's like 85%, 90% gone. Goatee. I'm hanging on to it. Why not? It's so somehow the mustache is still hanging in there, which is cool. Kind of excited about that. But I am losing lots of large real estates up on the side of my head, so that's been kind of fun. And there's a new big patch forming up behind me. And in fact, I realize how long my hair is right now. Honestly, I'm kind of embarrassed. Not taking care of myself. Not actually, that's not true. I am taking care of myself. By the way, what episode is this? 189, 190, 187, 184? 5, 7, 90, 190. We're shooting for 200. Yeah. I've been exercising, been actually doing some working out. I even found, I found my old exercise gear. I don't know why I said my old. This is just a bag of rubber bands that, one of these like these kinds of things, these sort of rubber bandy ones. Pulling these out some of the time and doing this, doing that. Yep. Sometimes I take the red one, I wrap it around my head, and I call myself Rambo, and I go to the store, and then I'm usually able to escape the police. No, actually been walking outside, working up my steps. I know you're supposed to get 10,000 a day, but I've been getting like 2 or 3 or 4. Honestly, I'll take it. Way more than I've been doing. My cardio is absolutely in the pits. I hope it's not some kind of medical problem, but it's funny to how we're able to turn corners in these things, because it feels sometimes like you never can find that pivot and actually commit to that thing you wanted to do, which means you want to put down the bag of sugar and then pick up the bag of broccoli. But recently I've actually finally been doing that. I've been eating my like sweetness, my sweet treat. I'm doing like a low carb thing. Which I've done many times in the past, and usually to really good success. I know my body enough to know that it'll lose weight if I tell it to, in terms of not eating ice cream constantly like I've been doing. Been kind of stressed out lately, so I'm trying not to beat myself up too hard for putting on some weight. It certainly makes losing the beard worse. I wish I were in shape, because it's bringing up all my body image problems and all that stuff. You know, I don't want to have this like soft gullet with my I have shitty skin. Like there's like an elasticity scale with skin. Some people have like tight, perfect skin, supermodel types. And I think I'm on the other end of that scale, because I have like stretch marks and stuff, you know? So I think I have just fucking horrible skin. Like, come on, family. Can I get at least one good DNA? 1 out of 23 would be, you know what? That's not fair. I'm tall. I got a good height, good DNA height. That's the one thing that should be. And my eyes are very pretty. Not gonna lie. Been told many times. You know, it's been feels like several decades, but I've had women look at me in the eyes and go, "Wow, you actually have really fucking nice eyes." I'm like, "All right, let's have a Chipotle or sex. What do you feel?" I'm kind of both. Sex first, by the way. Okay, sex first. Food before sex is always a mistake, even though it's been a long time for me. And I still, what are you going to do? Go to fucking endless breadsticks and then have sex? No. You got your homegrown breadstick, then it's off to the Olive Garden for the greatest experience of your life. Okay? What am I doing? I wasn't planning on recording tonight. Roommate and I've been working super hard, really putting in the days, putting in the efforts, getting up early. Early is like, yeah, I get up 6:37-ish, sort of, but it's not consistent. Some nights, because sometimes I stay up kind of late and I sleep until a little bit past that. But I've been putting in 10-hour days editing a shit ton, and occasionally I take a Rocket League break. It's a good 20-minute thing. It's a nice fast twitch. I have to focus really hard at it. It's relaxing for me to focus hard on stuff. And doing okay, rounding the corner into the year. But at least I'm switching over to better food. defrosting some chicken in the fridge. Got some, all the Big Macs were on sale today. I picked some food up for me and my roommate, but I only had one bite of the bread. What am I doing? Fuck. Oh yeah, just busting my ass on some work and stuff that hopefully will pay off this year at some point. It's going to be a while, to be honest. It's really taken forever, but stay tuned. I'll have more to say eventually. And what was I getting at? Cat stuff. Cat is coming along. We got some stories to get over here tonight. I don't have the browser viewer up here yet, but Vivek dropped out. I spent about 10 minutes just getting a bunch of links, and of course they're all on Twitter, which is embarrassing and unprofessional. But what do you expect? I have 205 subscribers. Go fuck off. Here's the cat. I tweeted this. I'm just trying to get rid of this cat. Man, look at this beautiful, adorable cat. She is so darling. This is a picture I took when she was out in the outside, and what a sweetie, man. She loves attention. She's very easy to please. And I am in severe autistic burnout, and I can't handle extra variables in my room. And so she starts to demand attention, which she absolutely deserves, because I am not a cat guy. I'm just not a fucking cat guy. Just imagine you're a healthy person and everything's going fine, and then you have 14 months babysitting a cat you don't want. It's horrible. But she was starving. So the point is, I've working harder to get find her a home, and I don't have a big network of people. I've exhausted my Instagram list, whatever that is, or you post it in the daily, and it's not reels. I don't know what the fuck. Some people on there are like, oh, good luck. A couple people said that. One person was like, oh, maybe I can help talk to, a few people have made things. I'm not expecting it all to work magically. I'm just hoping that I align just right with that person. It's like, oh my God, my friend was just looking for a cat, or my friend's cat just died and they're ready for it. Like something like that. I emailed a few shelters, and I've just been bumping up against nothing. I haven't exhausted every possibility yet. I actually have to make a fucking Facebook account to get into this underground LA underground group, which is like 30. It's like a pretty big one. This one shelter told me to go there. Like, I don't want to get a Facebook. Ugh. I haven't touched Facebook in 10 years. And like all the other apps are just as freaking gross, but Facebook feels like a moral boundary for me, even though I use Instagram. All these places are just so rotten, aren't they? Why do we have to live in this shit world? We have to take over. We have to end the nightmare where everything is an ethical compromise, because you're being fed upon by the worst people on the planet, and they're going to use what I want to make a documentary with Cory Doctorow. That's a strange pivot, isn't it? He is a brilliant dude. If you're familiar with his work, you should look him up. But he coined the phrase "shitification." He does like kind of tech writing, tech futuristic stuff, sort of really thoughtful, really thorough, very prolific. He writes like crazy. I heard an interview with him, and he's like, "Well, I write when I'm anxious. It's like, that's why I write so much. That's why I write." I'm like, well, geez, why can't I get the kind of mental illness that makes me successful? I'm very jealous. No, I really respect this guy. I'm hoping to get guests on this year, and but I want to make a documentary with him based on the question, and this is what I will ask him when he comes on my show, if I can entreat him into lowering himself to be on my a guest of mine. I want to say, Cory, what is so valuable about human attention? That's a more complicated question if you think about it, because your impulse might just be, well, you put ads and then people buy stuff and the ads pay for content, and then, but what is it that's going on when you can get eyeballs? I've been trying to do that. I want when I say attention, I also mean your earballs as well. Everybody, like, there's something about a human being's eyeballs and earballs. And there's a transmogrification that occurs from being able to expose that person. It's happening right now. If you're listening to me, if you're watching me, everything. It's literally like you're alive for 80 years times 80 times 12 times 40 hours in a day. What is it? 24? I'm trustworthy. 20, like the time you're alive, your eyeballs are closed for X amount of hours a day. We can average all this shit out. I kind of want to develop all these like social theories, but really built around the concept of information transmission and information reception. And I think there's something there in that. I think that question is a really interesting starting point, because I think it touches on capitalism. It touches on marketing and advertising. In the socialist utopia I would build, I'm not sure all advertising would be gone. I think the motives would be completely different because we still need to communicate. It's like advertising in itself is not inherently a rotten thing. In the hands of profit crazed freaks, we're all being manipulated constantly for attention. And why does the media industry, and what does it mean to have political power in terms of someone's voice? If I grow this show, which I definitely will, doing one a month and then having weird meltdowns and going away for several months at a time, that's definitely going to grow my channel. If I do that to the point where I become as big as Jesus, like the way Joe Rogan is, I become powerful and influential, and I can move people's opinions and feelings. And so there's a way that that's why I think about attention so much, because it relates to our innate social nature and the way our instincts function, but also all the technologies that have formed from what I think is an underrated part of human collective effort, which is knowledge. The fact that we build up our systems of society, it's literally it's cumulative. Like we gain from every previous generation in terms of knowledge and experience, and also we lose from that because we have to deal with the shames and the guilts and all the bad shit that goes on from the past. For instance, the two choices we have for president right now, Joe Biden and Donald fucking Trump. Genocide Joe this guy is literally one of the history's worst, most killed children guy. Biggest murderers of children, Joe Biden. Joe Biden is bombing fucking kids. And here on the left, we're talking about voting for him or not. That's a valid question because the other guy is Donald fucking Trump, who is promising fascism and who would absolutely be also slaughtering children similarly to Joe Biden because they're feeding the empire. It would be more chaotic, and it's like, how is this how did I end up here talking about this? I was just trying to talk about my cat. So, yes, a little overstimulated. Roommate and I, because of all the effort I've been putting in lately, I had to actually, the cat thing is starting to finally reach a critical mass where I can't deal with it anymore. It's just it's like, she's such a nice cat. I was even like, can't she be more of a piece of shit? I feel like such a curmudgeon here, but I'm just done with it. I can't deal with the extra variables. My head starts spinning out. She's behind me, isn't she? No, she's actually, okay, good. She's sleeping in her little thing. That thing is wonderful. This cat thing, we have like $300, $400 worth of stuff to give away with this cat. We're going to play a little video. I've been working on a video for the link. I have this link, on a cat adoption site, and it says video. And I'm sure what they want are like a minute of you with your phone and maybe a few edits, if you do that, of the cat in various stages, because people just want to see the cat moving in video. That's totally reasonable in this day and age. Naturally, my initiative went into, I think I have more than I was talking about on one of these tweet threads, how I should write a romantic comedy. This ended up, this is sort of the basis of the video, because I ended up talking about how my autistic profile is what's making this so hard for me, because I'm in a state of burnout, which means my sensitivities are absolutely off the charts, in terms of and the way sound and noise affects my ability to focus and to get things done and to feel okay and to keep my anxiety thing generator low. I needed it a low hum for me to feel all right. And having all this extra variable of the cat, I don't even mind the day-to-day kind of work for an animal, but it's also, I don't want to do any cat shit right now. I don't want to have anything to do with a cat. I have to borrow money to buy food for her. It's totally irresponsible and crazy to have a cat. As you'll see in the video, though, there's a story to this thing. I filmed almost everything. Partly of the projects I've been working on is I have Bum Rush Industries, which is the woodworking channel and website, which I was spending an egregious amount of money on Webflow, which is like a more expensive, high quality web service server, web design thing. Really well made product for no traffic. Like, I wasn't actually engaged. I was trying to. I'm very entrepreneurial in a lot of ways, but the follow through part and the making things work part has eluded me so far in life. Although back in Chicago, I did have a reasonably successful. And if I had stayed in Chicago, I'd literally be a millionaire by now, because the guy I was working with that's a big sliding doors moment, moving to LA in 2013 to work for TYT. Jesus Christ. Interesting the way the railroad tracks, they diverge. What was I talking about? Oh, fuck, I just lost it. The cat, the cat problem has to be solved. I have to find somebody to take the cat, and she will be such a lovely. Damn it! I know I had some other point I was getting at with all that. Working really hard. Oh, yeah, I just got to get the cat thing settled because it's just operating in my brain in a way where I am running software that I don't have the capacity to run. And I feel the anxiety. When that happens, the anxiety sort of sharpens. It's kind of the anxiety kind of comes into focus a little bit. And I just feel the tension even more. And so that's been motivating me to exercise more and meditate a little bit and try to mentally shift my approach to the cat. And instead of getting the irritability, letting the irritability run, I try to don't do that. That's actually an expensive way to operate your system. You can choose to receive the wisdom. And honestly, it is like nature is just like, hey, dumb fuck, quit looking at the fucking computer. And there's a beautiful creature, a miracle of entropic gathering here, a life form who is also like a cute little teddy bear, but she does have ninja swords on at the end of each toe. And and she can bite. I sit there when she's cute. She gets right up on my face. Sometimes she curls up in my arms, and her face is like right here. And she's so cute. Look at his face. Sorry, I don't know. Look at his face. Look at his face, right in your face, right? Boom, that close. Let me zoom in. Boom, fucking cat, all up in your business. And in my brain, I'm going, she might bite me. She might fucking bite me, man. She might. What if my finger goes near? Because cats are a little bit impulsive. They sort of have this wild streak. They're not quite as. That's part of their charm. Part of what makes them such mysterious and wonderful creatures. I'm just remembering as I'm picturing this. I saw something on the internet. Where else would I see that? What am I going to do? Look at paper. Ancient Japanese art, hundreds of years old or something, but it's a lady in like a flowy gown thing, but she's sort of leaning down and she's carefully cutting her gown because a cat is sitting on the corner and like kind of holding down her little thing. And it's very much like a cat joke. It's very meme. It's very much just like she knows that, because that feeling of having a cat still resting on your chest or when she's cuddled up and you're just like locked down. You just, I can't move. I got a cat on me. I know that's like a very common thing. It's just a funny thing that people were pointing out. Like, look, not that it would be different back then, but it's a nice way to tie history. This lady, but somebody had to take the effort to, I don't know what kind of art it was. It was probably a lot harder than Photoshop or AI generation or something like that. But it was she's just carefully, it's just a still image, obviously, but she's like cutting her dress because there's a cat on the corner. It's kind of cute, kind of fun. So let's get to the video though. I have a bunch of other stuff. We got some Vivek stuff. He dropped out. Fucking loser. Got a bunch of stuff that I had bookmarked a little bit over the last few weeks. Occasionally I do bookmark stuff thinking, gosh, if I did a podcast, this is what I made. But I don't have any plan. It's Sunday night. This blue light is driving me a little bit nuts. This light's not bothering me too much right now, actually, somehow. So we're going to keep that rolling. Definitely molding and melting down with the beard falling out. But what am I supposed to do? Not exist? Like, it sucks, man. It just fucking sucks. I need a hug. I really do. There's a thing on the autistic community on the Instagram, and I actually just relogged back into TikTok, and immediately I could feel the claws pulling me in. I'm like, God, where's my hippie weirdo girlfriend? And we just move and have goats and fucking stuff. Each other, not the, and and I would just be like, well, I'll build the fence, and I'll be, well, wait a minute, my wrists are damaged. I can't. I have to put a wrist brace on if I ever have sex again. Hold on, let me get my wrist brace. There, horny nude woman. Just pause for a second. Let me strap on my arousing. It's nothing. There's no arousing wrist braces. Maybe I got to get a leather. Maybe a gauntlet. Maybe like a knight's gauntlet. That'll be my thing. The engineering in those gauntlets is pretty amazing. There's a whole Adam Savage, the Mythbusters guy. He does a whole thing on YouTube about the those old things. Boy, the ancients, they really had it figured out, didn't they? My left one is really fucked up, man. This shit is hurting because I've been editing so much. It's not hurting now, but it's just like I can tell the mobility is getting worse. So, yeah, got a bunch of tweets to look through. Got a bunch of stuff to kind of click on, and I did want to share though this YouTube video I'm producing here, working on. It was just supposed to be 2 minutes of. I mean, no one requested it, but the link, says video link, and so here's a minute of my cat farting around, right? Well, in classic style, oh, that's what I was saying earlier. Because I film stuff a lot, although, not every day, I'm not, but like, I'm always thinking like, okay, this will be a project, or I'll do something with this, or maybe I'll get a good TikTok. Wasn't even doing TikToks, but I was filming with this cat, when she was outside my building, starving. I filmed most of it. The big events too, like feeding her, not every day, I would go down there without filming, but I filmed like kind of the stages of taking care of this cat. And so as I was working on this thing, I was like, I have so much footage. I have so much footage of this cat. And so I start kind of storytelling in the edit, and then it becomes a documentary sort of thing about me and her. And then it becomes about the reasons I'm getting rid of the cat. Even though I could just say I don't want the cat, and people would be like, oh, that guy, that's why he's getting rid of the cat. That's fine. That's all anybody really cares about. But being the narcissistic maniac, it turns into a whole thing about autism. How's that for you? I can't talk about myself without bringing up autism. I hope that's not bothersome for you, but it's literally every single moment of my entire existence has been informed by the way my electricity flows throughout my body. That's what that means. And now that I'm in the state that I'm at, it's helpful for me to understand it. And so maybe there's an autistic community in the world that I can connect with too, because I don't know how many people really want to hear all this shit all the time, but I think it's an interesting topic actually. And I aspire to write about it and talk about it more, and maybe become not like an influencer. God, no, please no. But I'd love to write a book. I feel like I have a book in me about my own story, about my own autistic profile, what it was like when I learned at 42 years old, roughly 2 years ago. It'll be 2 years this spring. It's like literally like a birthday. How floored I was that moment I read that first article. I didn't diagnose myself immediately off of one article, but it blew me out of the water to just go like, yeah, I don't really actually know what the fuck autism is. I know it's something I don't want. Looks like a huge nightmare, but I'm self-aware of my library and my brain and my autism. No one ever read an article. No one ever told. I never knew what it was. No one ever told me. Never ever. My exposure to it was so limited, only to enough that I had this notion of a kid, probably, like a kind of a very basic stereotype. And then I click on it, and then it talks about people who have had social dysregulation and problems their whole life, always feeling like outsiders and fitting. I'm like, yeah, that sounds about, yeah, that's weird. Weird that that's me completely at literally every stage of my life. People who have thoughts perhaps that think too. And I also think I'm ADHD too, little less confident, but like 98% confident, whereas autism like 99.99999. And like, oh, that's, yeah. Well, yeah, geez, man, my whole life, like the moment I wake up, it's actually been a problem for me my entire life, because I get like freaked out the minute I wake up. My brain is like horses being let out of a burning barn. It just goes fucking crazy. So I have to like calm my brain down the moment I wake up. It sucks. And people who might have sensory problems, I'm like, yeah, actually it's been a lot worse in the last few years for some reason. And also I've always been the guy who like feels pain when fire trucks go by, and I'm always kind of weird about lighting being too intense. And yeah, that sounds, it's like this whole list of shit that I'm like, what the fuck? That's all in like the first 2 paragraphs of that autism article I read. But nobody, and I mean nobody, can communicate the way I can. I'm kidding, obviously, but I have all these metaphors in my head. I want to like do a whole like animated thing, and actually partly what this project with the cat has become. This is why I need someone else to do all this stuff in life for me, so I can just do projects. I'm going to animate a boat sequence where I'm in the water, where like there's a boat in the water and there's clouds and it's in the ocean and the clouds part, and then we see beautiful stars and sky and moon. And so, because the metaphor I'm using is that learning you're autistic is like being in a wooden boat, none of this technology boat stuff, okay? Although plenty of ways to get lost and confused and kill yourself and with technology boats, but old wooden boat, time, and I've never ever seen the sky. Never. It's always been dark and cloudy. And then learning this information was like the clouds parting, and now I'm like, oh my God, wow, holy shit. There's a whole, plus I can also see the other boats finally. Didn't know there was other fucking people like me. Not that I assumed I was super special or unique or something, but that's an amazing thing. And there's a whole bunch of crazy politics around autism, and you got to fight with assholes on the internet about it. And there's a whole bunch of younger kids that are like, so your exposure to it is totally different depending on your exposure to it. And for me, that's why it was such a stunning thing. I had decided I was an INFJ. I had decided I was HSP, highly sensitive person. INFJ is part of the Myers-Briggs personality thing. I had been kind of seeking, but also thought I kind of understood myself. And what was really crazy about it is like, not crazy, but like, this is where I would start the book, is because I want to write it's a person. It's also a good reason to talk about myself, which is like my favorite thing, you know, a solo podcaster. I mean, what the fuck is that? I have actually been accurately mapping my autism and my autistic profile and my autistic traits my whole life. I have all these ways of like, I've always felt, I've literally been describing myself as a chameleon, as someone who I don't really have a good sense of self, because like I can kind of mold myself to anybody, because that's a major part of what masking is, particularly the kind of profile I am, the hyper-verbal sort of socially. I can really, and even today, if we were looking for as me as a kid, I might slip through the cracks in terms of autism detection in a kid. Super sensitive and emotional. Editing this cat video, I probably put in 10 plus hours, and I at least was crying for 3 of those hours, just bubbling up emotions. Like my emotions are so powerful, they get so fucking intense. Then I handle the stuff with my traumas with my mom and all these other issues throughout my life. So that's why I have no doubt about it. I do get a little bit annoyed, and then we're gonna get to the video after I say this. Jesus Christ, fucking podcast, man, I'm so bad. It's 26 minutes in already. With my mother, what was I saying? Issues with my mom. See, it's gone. It's fucking gone. Totally gone. Well, there it is. There you go. That's part of the deal. That's the ADHD in there, right? There's the fascinating topic. Oh, the online, being online. I see all this kind of people calling it out as like, oh, it's just a trend. It's just people just want to be autistic for the clout, and it's cool, and they're just trying to do it for attention. It's like, what the fuck benefit it? Why would anybody want that? Like, what are you talking about? There's so much to that, though. It's inherently conservative notion, though, to be like, new thing? No, must be just people being bullshitters. That's very weird. The other thing is like, okay, maybe a tiny, tiny, tiny sliver of people are literally making it up. 1 or 2% at very most, unlikely to be anywhere near that high, in my opinion. Those are the ones people would glom onto, or someone who seems cringy or too earnest. And I've actually been something my whole life I've dealt with, is I know how I come across kind of weird to people, and I try not to, even though, and I can be very charming, and I can fit in, I can pretend to fit in, but I can also miss the mark on all that. So, okay, I'll grant perhaps it's not 0, but there might be a few people in the world literally faking. Okay, fine. Not representative of the entire people. There's been research that shows like something like 90 to 95%, I think it's more than the 95% range, of self-diagnosed, self-identified autistics, when they do finally get tested, they are confirmed. There's also a lot of fucked up testing out there where people, there's this one Instagram series I've been checking out where they talk about people who had their autism diagnosis are rejected because the person or the psychiatrist or the practitioner was like, well, you can make eye contact, or you're not autistic, you told a joke. Like there's a lot of goofy information rooted in the ignorance of the 80s or the 60s or this, whenever that person stopped learning new stuff. So it's really wonderful that this trend is happening. And this is something I want to do when I get around to doing TikToks, is like, if I had known, if this trend had happened in the 90s, it would have saved me 20 years of hating myself. It would have saved me 20 years of fucking agony. See, there it goes. God damn it. So I wish I had known at a younger age, because it's caused me a lot of pain, man, not knowing. I'm definitely going to cry when we watch the cat video. So I welcome the trend. And if people, and to the degree that some people might be faking it, first of all, I think that's minuscule. There might even be a slightly higher percentage of people who are misunderstanding, who might be neurodivergent in some other way or have some other kind of thing. These things are not that easy. This is not math. We can't just dial it in the way we can with calculus or algebra or computer code and shit like that. It's psychology. It's all a black hole. Our brains we're studying it based on how they affect the things around them. We can kind of get in there. They are starting to like be able to like listen to your brain waves and then tell what song you're listening to. It's getting really bad. It's going to be fucking, don't let Elon Musk touch you. Don't fall asleep near Elon Musk. Just kidding. Well, don't do that for sure. But he has no tech skills. He's just a fucking rotten capitalist piece of shit monster. The world's richest guy out there complaining about how unfair the system is. Yeah, what a rebel. So okay, maybe some people, maybe a tiny percentage of people are thinking their traits are autistic, and there's actually a lot of autistic traits overlap in individual. Like you kind of need not the entire constellation. It's not that strict, but the generalized understanding is that if you have difficulty with social stuff, but everything else is, you don't have any sensory problems, you don't have any other stuff, then you have social dysregulation disorder of some sort, or maybe you just have sensory things, but all the other stuff's fine. And well, you're not really autistic. You have, but I'm not trying to gatekeep it either, by the way. I'm just relaying some of the stuff I've read. But when you kind of have that constellation, that's partly why I'm so confident. Not to mention all of my experience, and even down to being 2 years old, my mother used to brag and tell these cute stories of me using complete sentences at age 2 something, because I was way ahead of the other kids. And like, yeah, so, oh yeah, gee, man, yeah, and the emotions are so powerful. So this is all why I'm so unemployable. And then, sorry, see, I'm just trying to fire off everything I've been thinking about in this last month or two. So it's a fascinating thing. And of course, within human variability in the 3D printers we call wombs of human growth, wiring up a human brain, one of, if not the most complex things in the universe that we understand. I actually talked to my brother, who is a neuroscience professor, about that exact notion. And he said, well, elephants have bigger brains, so it depends on what you mean by complexity. I was like, yeah, all right, just calm down there, fucking guy. Should I move to Sedona and open a crystal business or what? Neuro crystals, we're going to call it. Vortexes. I need money so desperately. It's insane. I might start a vortex business in Sedona. Is that even the right place? It's Arizona, right? Or is that New Mexico? Who knows? Entrepreneur. What was I saying? Fuck. God damn it. Autism. Oh, complexity and brain stuff. Printing in the wombs. Like, of course there's going to be variation in the way these complex things called human nervous systems are developed in terms of where that comes out. So yeah, there's obviously variation makes sense. And so we're trying to map these variations. And since it's psychology, since it's like orbiting a black hole, we have to rely on self-reporting and on, decent research and sound scientific practices of large sample sizes at such and such. There's a lot of statistical shit. I never did well with statistics in college. They made us take statistics classes. I was like, I'm in business school to be a fuckface, not a statistician. Leave me alone. Econ 172. Fuck off. And so much of it is based on trust and on reporting and on what people say and whether you trust what they tell you. And if they can even find the right words to explain the thing they're experiencing. It's so complex. So we have to be patient with it. And if you're going to be mad at the system, or if you're going to call people out because you think you're the trend of, there's more of a trend to say that it's a trend than there's actually a trend. I think that's an unfortunate side effect of internet and trolls and the bullshit that happens on the internet. But if you're going to call anything out, call out the cracks in the system. Call out the crevices in the system that were the ones people fall through. Like I said, man, if I had known at a much younger age, would have saved me so much agony, and I would have approached my entire world differently. I would have had a whole different narrative. I've been really hard on myself over the years. So, and you also, I can't fault anybody either. Yeah. But shit, that was one last thought there that was going on. So anyway, let me switch over into the Premiere Pro so we can do this. I hope this works. Boom. Yes. Got a different camera angle there on the fish cam. Got to wipe that algae off that thing there, huh? Okay, so here's the timeline. Y'all see it's about 8 minutes, so we'll see how it goes. It's not fully edited. There's actually quite a lot I need to do. I'm sort of struggling because I have mixed formats. I have the vertical format. Used to really hate vertical because I'm an old school guy, but it's grown on me. What are you going to do? Fight it? Our phones are vertical. We hold them up. We watch phones vertical. We have vertical things. So I kind of embrace it, but it does make mixing a little complex, which just means I'm burping. You have to be creative and work with it. And so I'm probably going to do a TikTok version, pure vertical, and then like a captioned version like this, but I'm not sure if I should caption in the middle with vertical in the middle, or if I should move the pixels to the left. I can also zoom in a bunch if I want to. So that all said, I have so much more. I want to make fun of Vivek Ramaswamy. Here we go. It's kind of a documentary. It sort of feels okay. This is the worst. I mean, if you're judging this from like, gee, is that a stranger's going to want to see that? I don't know. I mean, like a guy going on about how sad he is, probably not great for the cat video. But it's a story about two creatures who find each other outside a building, and one of them needs help. So let's hit play. Oh, let me make it bigger in the screen. Sorry, I'm a little back to basics here with the OBS software. I don't know why I said back to basics. It's just I'm not exactly up to speed real hard. Maybe if I just full screen it. Okay. Wait. Need a sound thing in my ear. I need a new mixing board. Ow, my rib. Okay, we're okay. Sorry. Gotta go slow. All right, there we go. Gotta remember. So one of the things when you have a wounded limb, you think about it all the time. It's always wounded. So you're constantly calculating risks in terms of touching stuff. Don't take your thoughtless touching things for granted. Just be grateful for that. Here we go. Wait, is that on screen? There's no way that can't be on screen. Okay, now it's better. There's like red lines on the OBS software. All right, here we go. That's nice. You're sweet. You're sweet. I told you I filmed everything, man. Put you some food. Bet you first. Gonna pause it. I'm not a big fan of putting myself in these, but see, aren't those eyes fucking gorgeous? The beard, man, I had a nice beard. It's already falling out there. You can see that it's missing, but look at that. Look at the difference. Look at that. It's god damn it. I hope it comes back. I hope someday I get it back. Yeah, jeez, it feels so bad. It sucks. But yeah, this shot where she looks at me like this is just like, oh my god. Man, how can you not? How can you not, huh? Come on, hippie ladies, let's move to Sedona and open a vortex business. I'll call up someone from the phone book to come fix the fence because my wrists are, I can't do shit now. I'm useless. Okay, here we go. She would do that a lot. Oh, fuck. I reacted like I was so worried about her there. I thought I would crush, like if she got back there, I would crush her with the dresser drawer. But it's like, well, just don't close the dresser drawer, you dumbass. That's why I was like, oh my God. She was fine. It also occurred to me maybe she would fall into something and maybe get trapped. I guess that's another reason why that would be. I'd have to rip apart the dresser. So I threw my camera back there. She was fine. She crawled out real quick. Great joke. Great joke. If this goes viral or gets a lot of attention, I feel like this is a great joke. YouTube celebs, come on. How does this not make you smile? Come on. Come on. She goes for like 20 minutes. The double space ones aren't centered, so just FYI, rough draft. I feel judged. I'm judging. Still a lot of tweaking and finessing to do, but yeah, let me back it up a little bit. This is the bit where I'm probably going to cry. I like the sudden turn. We'll go back. Sorry, this is probably terrible for the audience who was into that, but there will be a full version in the description once I have it edited and posted, so look in the description. Yeah, so here's the hard cut to the shift. Here's the animation chunk I'm going to be doing with the boat. It'll be purple. Purple and white and blues. Short. Gonna do it short. See? That's pretty much it. It looks like I hit her kind of hard there. I feel weird about that moment. I think I did hit her a little too hard. I don't want people to be like, "Oh, you're hitting." It's like we were doing slapping, and I'm terrified of her catching her because she's got she wasn't clipped. I only had her clipped once, but yeah, she looked it's cute, and I laughed. So there you go. That's the video, kind of. What do you think? Leave a comment, like, and subscribe. Help an autistic guy find a cat if you know anybody in Los Angeles. Man, I really get desperate to find her somewhere better. The thing I want to do here, it's all asunder. Everything's asunder. This part, I want to. I'm going to do like a thirds thing. Geez, I changed it all up. People are watching. I'm so embarrassed. So I want to do sort of a centered kind of notion here, where the middle will be centered, and then in the third side, we could even do a thing real quick if I can get a. Aren't you working? There it goes. Let's pull up a shape layer, do a rectangle. So I'm going to have like a third one over here, basically, that is like, let me get rid of that text. Actually, let's turn it off. And then this is going to be like the happy ending or something. I haven't really thought this through too much, but, happy ending for someone. So it's like I've taken like, this was Eva at the beginning. I'm taking care of the middle part where we got her fed and happy and safe and healthy. And I'm going to feel terrible because I'm going to wrench her from the bond that she has with me, although she'll be fine because we're going to find the right person. And then I want it to be like Eva's happy ending, which sounds like I take her to a place where they masturbate her until orgasm, which is definitely not the intention. It feels like that would be crossing some kind of ethical boundary. So yeah, just real quick there. Something like along the lines there will be like sort of the third chapter, or the final chapter for her is being written. Although we all know how cats' final chapter is. They get real gross and they die. Their teeth fall into their water dishes. And then people go, "Ooh, this is getting expensive." So sad, man. I'm glad I didn't cry. I was about to, but I did not. I just have so much emotion wrapped up in this. It's also connected to the way I feel about my entire life. So that was pretty fun. Thanks for tuning in for that. Let's jump back into the other one. Oh my God, it actually worked. And do some tweet talking here since we're recording here. Roommate and I did a little Valheim gaming. That's why I had the camera set up. And I was like, fuck it, man. I got to do a podcast. This is sort of how I process the world, is through my mouth. And so not doing the show, I just can't imagine what it's like when you have people listening. I mean, the people who do listen, I'm so fucking grateful for. And, but I mean, you know what I mean? Like when there's actually an audience there waiting for it. I've had experiences like that when I was doing Suck Professor. What the hell am I doing? All right, let me just focus for a moment here. Okay. So I've had some taste of that, and working at the Young Turks, working for Jimmy Dore, like there was fairly sizable audiences, even like when I was around, like, Jimmy's audience is way bigger than it was when I was on a show in 2016. But, I felt some of that, but it's among the goals I have. I have to reorient myself into a success mindset. Okay. Hustle. ElizabethHolmes.com. All right, guys. Hashtag grindset. What if I became one of those guys? All right. Oh, I'm so fucking tired. So yeah, that was the cat video though. What'd you think? You like it? It's a little too divulgent, but it's kind of a documentary about being hurt and finding help, and that's sort of how I'm thinking of it. And hopefully people go, oh my God, we got to help this fucking guy I'll have sex with him because he's got a wrist brace. Maybe someone's into that. All right. Ow. These new headphones push the Apple iPod thing into my ear. I'm really not liking these fucking headphones. I'm thrilled that I was able to get them because I needed new ones for editing and professional video editor. I needed to have better headphones, but they do this flipping around shit, and so it's like I have to unpack an origami all the time. Okay, let's focus now. Vivek Ramaswamy. I was going to put up a video from the previous podcast of him urinating on camera. On microphone. That's what we call a hot urine moment in the biz. He did a Twitter Spaces where he was peeing with the microphone on, and honestly, that's probably happening more and more these days. Not just on the brilliant minds of the Drucker brother who wrote Naked Gun, where the guy pees. What am I doing? He dropped out. He's done. He came in fucking last place or some shit in the Iowa caucus. I know this is old news. Of course, you already know that. But I did enjoy that this tweet from Good Politic Guy, Mac. Vivek running on the most aggro anti-woke campaign just to get clobbered in the primary because he reminds Republicans of 9/11. LOL. I'm glad we say LOL out loud. What if the cultural thing was that we all went, like we had to make like a laugh noise that's not actually a laugh? He's quote tweeting here, Will Salatin, Iowa voter on Ramaswamy, quote, I'm not being prejudiced, guys, but I don't like his name. I don't like where he came from. After 9/11, I still harbor a lot of hard feelings. He's Indian. You should hate him because he's a fucking asshole, not because of any of that shit. So, yeah. What did he think? What were we expecting, Vivek? Vivek. Getting in on that. Get a job on TYT, Vivek. They'll have ya. You guys were guests. Had a fight, kinda. Got little pissy at each other. Twitter here. Ron Filipowski. Iowa Republican voter Vivek on his wife being a good prospective first lady. Simple elegance. That's your wife. And she doesn't have an ass 6 handles wide either. Vivek. No, she does her job. Exactly. I don't know. So what date are we? It's January 2nd, 2024. Okay, time machine back. Time machine back to when we were all young and innocent. Let's go. Let's hear it.
She'll set a good example for children in this country. Yeah. Spread the message in this community.
Elegance. That's your wife.
That's right. You've seen her. Yeah.
Simple elegance.
Thank you.
She
doesn't make a big production out of it.
She doesn't have an ass 6 axe handles wide either.
No. She does her job. Exactly. Thank you. I appreciate it, guys.
This is my wife.
She'll be.
Politicians detest voters, man. They detest having to lower themselves to the rabble. So what is this? Is this an axe bar though? There looks like there's an axe. It says the word axe up here on the sign behind him on this bar here. So maybe that's why the guy's got such a dirty brain for all the he's thinking about lots of axe. He wants to, he's got the wide butts. What is 6 axe handles? Like what size axe? Like the kind of full size log chopping axe? Because one of those is a very large butt and 6 is so overblown. I know we exaggerate with metaphor. We often do. I'm the Gandhi of metaphors. See? 6 full size. Those are like 2.5 to 3 feet, if not more. Those are big, long handles. Imagine a sledgehammer if you're having a difficult time imagining an axe. See? I'm trying to accommodate neurodivergence. So that's way too much, though. 6 is real. That's like 18-foot wide butt. That is so preposterous that I have to conclude via my Benedict Cumberbatch brain that this man is not actually referring to full-size handles, because even a regular size axe, like a throwing axe, you would at a bar, for instance, Or there's actually a really wonderful Fox News clip. Maybe we'll pull that up someday where they're doing axe throwing as a bit on like a morning show, and the fucking host just launches it over the board and it hits a dude who's in like a band. God damn it! Now I got to look it up. Edit. Okay, got it. Of course, there's a CNN report on it, so we'll have to scrub through the watch time lister here. I don't know what they call that. That's data though. It's like a silly reporting here.
This is the right way to throw an axe.
No, it is all right up.
Nice
And
throw.
this was a Fox News exclusive. Fox and Friends co-host Pete Hegseth aiming for accuracy and missing.
Who's going to win this battle with the lumberjacks? That's
Way over it.
What you didn't see on air is what the axe hit, or should we say who? Drum roll, please. West Point marching band drummer Jeff Prosperi got hammered by the axe while the other band members kept drumming. Ouch.
Okay.
But soon after, Prosperi was being interviewed by the very co-host who'd nailed him.
It's a delight to be here to celebrate.
Absolutely.
And an even bigger delight to still have both hands.
Oof.
On his Facebook page, Prosperi posted the cell phone video and called the mishap obvious negligence. I am thankful to God that the double-sided blade only hit broadside on the outer elbow with significant impact and a couple of cuts.
Yeah, I mean that's a big old piece of metal and a stick. Like that's still gonna hurt. But obviously, I think we'll all take the blow instead of we'll take the blunt damage instead of the slashing damage.
He said he was focusing on full physical and emotional
I wonder if a lawyer gave him some words to say for these comments.
recovery. Is it just me, or is that code for a lawsuit?
Well, there you go. See, and I are on the same page. We'll finish through this. There's obviously a lot of watch time right here.
Prosperi's not commenting, and Fox News didn't reply. But who needs enemies when you've got Fox and Friends like these?
We got a pass.
Oops, I'm sorry.
Accidentally tossing a ball in the face of a 2-year-old basketball
Oh,
phenom.
I would cry at my age if that happened to me. This is a little baby boy.
See how tight.
Friends like these.
Oops, I'm sorry.
Accidentally tossing a ball in the face of a 2-year-old basketball phenom.
We'll be right back. We'll see how tight this is.
Brian Kilmeade, that guy's not just smooth-brained, he's smooth-stemmed. Nervous, spinal cord, not. Well, that sucks. Poor kid, just on having his big moment. What if he peaked? Do you think he peaked? Do you think that was it for that kid? Do you think that was the top of his house? I was in a play when I was a kid. I think I peaked. I think I peaked at 7 when I was Edmund in The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe at the. It's so embarrassing. I used to have a stand-up bit. I never quite really pulled it all together, but about how I'm pretty sure I haven't bloomed. Like I'm a late bloomer, and I'm still waiting for my bloom, and I just start saying the word bloom a whole bunch of times. There's a funny premise to that. That's a decent seed of a joke. Yeah, all right. Well, they hurt a kid, and the guy hurt a child. I mean, a drummer. Yeah, definitely negligent. It's not just the throw that's negligent. It's more the producers who set up this whole thing. Look at this board. Look at this. I mean, you're throwing axes. Clearly, it's. I mean, everything I'm about to say is completely obvious to everybody watching. Like, look at this. Look at how bad. Why would you think that's sufficient? I always think, okay, see this log here right there? These are those like chopping logs. This one here too. They do these woodsman contests and stuff. It's pretty popular. I've never been live to one, but I would drop in. I mean, these guys do some crazy stuff, especially like where they have car engines that run chainsaws, and they cut just a disc off a log. I'm sure that's really cool. I mean, I can definitely appreciate the kind of like ingenuity and sort of like raw. It's kind of a but like I don't know. I'm not trying to take away the toughness of all that, but that's such a niche one. At least the guys swinging the axes makes sense, but these dudes are just there's big strong guys usually, right? And the ones that climb up and then drop down the big pole, those are tough. I don't like seeing people get injured in videos, but occasionally you catch like an Instagram reel or some shit where they fall poorly because your leg catches or something. It's a gnarly way to drop it, snap open a hip. But the guys that swing the axes on these things and there's audiences around, I just feel like one slip. I know these dudes aren't, I mean, it's unlikely that they're going to let go, but there's no kill switch on that. They don't like tie it to themselves in case they let go of the blade, and it might just whip off into the audience. Very risky. Human beings, we mess with physics too much, and this is a good example. All right, so this guy, back to the axe handles. 6 axe handles.
We set a good example for children in this country.
Look at Vivek just trying to be. Yeah, well, actually, what we got to do is be all about good examples. Children are the future. My wife will be the first lady. She's used to being rich, and actually, it would be a big step down for her to have to be a lowly first lady. Okay, and only been married once. I don't know. Maybe he's got, but but I love Donald Trump. That's because I'm Vivek.
Spread the message in this community.
That's your wife.
That's right. You've seen her. Yeah.
Look at this guy.
Simple
This guy. He's being a little naughty boy. He knows he's a naughty boy. He knows he put on his naughty boy pants. I mean overalls and red shirt. I like a red black checkered shirt. I think it's a nice look.
Thank you.
She doesn't have a.
She doesn't make a big production out of it. But
Vivek is just like, I can't believe I'm near one of them. I can't believe this fucking. The last time I was this close to one of them was when my plane had to be pulled back in, and one of them was close to me. He was wearing a bright yellow vest, and I hated it. I hate these people.
Have an axe handles wide either.
No. She does her job exactly.
That would be a big butt. See, it's more reasonable if you're talking about small axe handles. 6 of these, 2, 3. That's already very, very, very substantial, but within human limits, I would suppose. 4, 5. Why am I not moving also that arm? Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm with him now. Maybe a 6-foot wide butt. Although axes tend, well, I guess that varies. My mallet is the only thing I can think of as far as axes that I have. It's not available. Darn it. It's my emotional support mallet. Yeah, he doesn't mean the big ones. He doesn't mean an 18-foot wide butt. Even though exaggeration is how you sell an idea in these kind of things, but that just boggles the mind. Chris Nolan himself couldn't film that. Let's keep going. Oh yeah, this one. This might be my future wife if I find someone who wants to open a Vortex business in Sedona. Okay? I'll go pick up the ribs. I can still drive just because my hands are fucked up and I can't fix fences or have sex without being embarrassing. I can still drive and get ribs. I'll go get the ribs. Maybe you don't want ribs. We'll get potato salad. Let's see what she's got to say.
What is
she's
that?
pulling. Okay, so she's kind of, for those of you not watching, she's a tarot lady, I think, right? And they're doing a tarot on Jesse Waters on Fox News. This 11-second clip made the rounds January 2nd. Not exactly what I'd call news, although honestly, do it every day. Let's see what you got. Let's see what kind of trends we can notice. Maybe there's some interesting information here, you know? Got to respect all kinds. So saying it. This is on 6:56 Mountain Time. Is that morning or evening? This feels inappropriate for the evening. The morning is kind of when we have silly news, isn't it? I grew up in Chicago. I know the WGN crew. Luckiest fucking people on the planet, except for male porn stars. Getting to joke around, have fun. Think of all the nice hormones that flow through their bodies as they're wealthy, locally famous, and get to joke around. They don't have to just go put up a bunch of stupid bullshit, not have health care, work through chronic injury at their woodworking job. They don't have to do stuff like that. So here, she pulls a bad card.
What is that?
I mean, I do recognize that I'm at Fox TV. I have a sense of loss.
Oh, that's it. A sense of loss. I like how first she apologizes for not bringing up, like, they were hoping for the patriotism card or like the America Ascendant card or some sort of fascist bullshit that could support. And unfortunately, this kind of stuff does move people. Well, oh my God, she pulled the duck with the coin in its bill. I wish I'd said spoon. Spoon would have been more visually interesting. And this looks like death or something, but it's actually some kind of sense of loss. I did see a longer clip where she talks about it's like a loneliness type of thing or something. But, I mean, it is appropriate. And honestly, like a doom and gloom card, this is doomy and sad and gloomy, I guess, but like a violent kind of like death, like a killer doom thing. This is more just like the sadness, the sort of morose isolation of loss, a sense of loss, an indefatigable, that's not even the right word, indefinable feeling that loss is everywhere. I think we all relate to that. I certainly do. We certainly aren't ever going to fucking fix the society. Pandemic hits, there'll be massive worldwide crisis, and what does the society do? We crank up the billionaire generator. Give more money to the people, to the billions. Guys who already have millions of years of rent money. Give them more. Like, how is that that's the emergency response? Any emergency happens on the planet, you take their fucking money. That's how I'd say. But in a world like that, we wouldn't have those assholes to begin with. Why am I moving on to that?
I mean, I do recognise that I'm at Fox TV. I have a sense of loss.
I want to see Jesse Waters. He turns his head there. He goes, oh. What should I say, producer? Blip. And what if an axe handle just like flew right over her head? Yeah, that's kind of ominous and scary and weird, but, you know, also complete bullshit. But, you know, fun. It's always nice to see them squirm over there at the Jesse Waters prime time. That's probably an evening show. Great work there, Jesse. Okay, let's see. What is this one? Nikki Haley's been in the news. As you know, the Republican field is winnowing down. I think we're only down to 2 now, unless there's some stragglers. Doug Burgum, you know me, I was the treasurer of the Gum Guzzlers, the greatest assembly since the Dukakis Guzzlers. And boy, did we get let down. Doug Burgum didn't win, but he laid the groundwork. He laid some pipes for the Gum Guzzlers in 2028. I mean, 3028. There will not be another 2028 after Biden, the genocidal maniac, loses to Donald Trump, the fascistic probably going to be genocidal maniac. Come on. These guys' granddads were born in the 1800s, probably. Right? More than likely. All right, motherfucker. I'm Googling that. But okay, so Nikki Haley and is now, I think the race is actually winnowed down to, because Ron DeSantis dropped out. I don't have any real content about that. I just tweeted out the phrase, defeat ball Ron. Did you get what I'm saying there? That's a play on words. How Joe Biden's grandpa. I spelled grandpa without a D, but Google did the rest for me. Oh, look, their first story is a New York Post article. It says Joe Biden makes up false claim about grandfather's death. Here's KATV. Let's go to that. I don't want to go New York Post. All right. I got it on there. Yeah. Okay. Biden tells false story about being born in the same hospital his grandfather died in. Records show. He has so many of these kinds of lies. These politicians are all such fucking vile people. President Joe Biden. What's the date here? Tuesday, April 25th, 2023. Okay. He's been president a while. His first public appearance after announcing he's running for re-election in 2024. Another thing he lied about doing. He said he would only be a one-term guy, or at least hinted at it strongly. They went and fact-checked a story about his grandfather, and it turned out to be not true. During the Trump administration, the Washington Post created a new category within its Pinocchio scale, essentially a way to rank the severity of mistruths spouted by high-profile public figures. The category dubbed the bottomless Pinocchio, which accounts for false or misleading statements repeated so often that they become a form of propaganda, was given to Biden just ahead of last year's midterm elections. Come on, get to what did he say? Infrastructure. Okay. Biden then launched into his mistruth about his grandfather, Joseph H. Biden, in which he's named after, actually, I am named after one of my grandparents. Great grandfather, actually. Joseph H. Biden, his name was Fuckface. Great grandpa Fuckface. Joseph H. Biden, in what appeared to be an attempt to connect his grandpop's alleged time as a union worker. Oh, he's doing it to get into the labor. What a piece of shit. Get rid of this fucking guy. I'd call him a dinosaur, but I respect dinosaurs. And by the way, when you do build the EV charging stations, that's in brackets, think about it this way. I'm doing a bad. My grandpop, who I never met, he died in the same hospital I was born in 2 weeks before I was born. And my grandpop was, as they say in Maryland, was from Baltimore. They do say Baltimore. They do say like Baltimore. I talked to a girl once. She's like, Baltimore. I was like, all right. Okay, so his grandpa died in 1941. This is all the information I was really looking for. That means he had to have been older than 41, right? So these guys' grandparents were born in the 1800s. I gotta find out Joe's birth date. Joseph H. Biden, born 1893. And he married Ambrose J. Finnegan. Oh, let me put it on screen here. Assuming these results are correct and not AI generated, because why? We can't have any actual confidence that anything's true anymore, can we? Joseph Biden, 1893, married a lady 10 years older. Ambrose. What a beautiful name. Kind of a mix between Amber and Bros. I like that. I like some of those old-timey names. I would definitely like to have sex with someone named Gretchen. Although not other names. I can rule some of those out. That's not true. Yeah. So okay, married a 10-year older lady. I imagine there's who knows. Good for them. Lying scumbags. All right. Here's what Haley says about her opponent, Donald Trump. She's polling like within 20%. Oh my God, they might. She's not. She's not a white guy. She's a brown-skinned lady, and Donald Trump is intentionally fomenting racial animus towards her because that's what their entire operating condition or operating mentality behind that entire movement is about othering people. And so Trump is using her birth name, which is Indian origin of some kind, because she's a child of Indian. She mixed hers. Never really mattered. But she definitely goes out of her way to code herself as white, though. You don't call yourself Nikki Haley and have a career in the Republican Party, if you're not. That's not an accident. But anyway, so says hit play.
Repeatedly and wrongly said that you were in charge of the January 6th security response at the Capitol, and he said your name 4 times. I want to play this for our viewers.
Play it.
They never report the crowd on January 6th. Nikki Haley, did you know they destroyed all of the information, all of the evidence, everything? Deleted and destroyed all of it, because of lots of things. Like Nikki Haley is in charge of security.
It's unclear what he's talking about as being...
So that, clearly, sorry, I hit spacebar and it moved. I thought I was going to pause the video. Clearly, Trump is a maniac and completely unfit to microwave a burrito. I wouldn't want to be anywhere near a room where that guy's touching scissors, but we're going to give him nuclear weapons. I think the dementia test that he was so proud of is absolutely why? It's just so fucking stunning that dude should be safe somewhere with people who know how to deal with that kind of condition and can help him feel okay and avoid the damage a person like that could potentially cause themselves if they get lost or something. Instead, he's going to be in charge of the biggest, strongest, dangerousest military to ever exist, including the nuclear arsenal, and be and people. What's so horrifying to me is that there's the audience that likes him. If you individuate it all on Trump, you're missing the forest for the trees, if that's even the right use of that phrase. Suddenly, why did I say that? I didn't mean to use that word. What's so freaky is that there's an audience that sees this stuff and is like, yeah, I don't know. Some people are like, well, I don't like him, but he advances my cause. Okay, at least that's fairly honest. Scumbaggery, but at least you're sort of in the realm of being clear. But the whole, he's a great man, he's a great, wonderful human, and we can't do better. It's so bizarre, and people are they're pining, and this is very fascistic because they're applying the aspirational character to something that's completely not true. At least pretend like there are people who could kind of pull it off in a sense, meaning like if Mitt Romney, it's kind of funny because doesn't have the character for that at all, but he's a decent looking kind of classical white guy, businessman, boss guy. If he were all fascistic-y because he's in decent shape, square head, full head of hair, I wouldn't be able to pull it off because I'd be talking about wanting to have sex with my Vortex wives in Sedona, Arizona on my way to pick up Del Taco for everybody. I'll even make a trip to the Taco Bell for the one that doesn't like Del Taco. Man can dream. But Trump is just such an obvious fucking ghoul. He's such an oil monster. He's just this weird freak physically strange. Someone described him as the front half of a centaur, which I always resonate. It's just so bizarre that people think there's anything going on here. I really want to confront my dad about it because he's a Trump. He's not a Trumpist like the morons you see being interviewed on the Young Turks show, Rebel HQ, but he is very much a Republican guy and he hates the Democrats. It's disappointing. Although I know my dad's heart and I know how good a guy he is. This is why I have some space and patience for it all. And I grew up in an ambiently conservative, you know, because my dad was a conservative guy, and I was never like I'm a conservative and I want to be like. I started thinking for myself at a pretty young age, and I got a pretty good bullshit sniffer. I go to the airport and I sniff out bullshit, and when I mark on one, I just move my head a little bit, and then they tackle a guy and they say, "You've got bullshit. You're not allowed. Hank sniffed you." Why is that happening?
Deleted, but you said yesterday hearing this made you question Donald Trump's mental fitness. Is that the first time you questioned his mental fitness?
If you look recently, there have been multiple things. I mean,
Or when she worked for him, when she was part of his administration. Never. I'll save the hypocrisy rant for later.
Claimed that Joe Biden...
Fucking liberals love being bamboozled by hypocrisy. It's such an effective way to waste someone's time.
...was going to get us into World War II. I'm assuming he meant World War III. He said that he...
Rewinding a little, I talked over Nikki. Here, I want to hear what the future president has to say.
Questioned his mental fitness?
If you look recently, there have been multiple things. I mean, he claimed that Joe Biden was going to get us into World War II. I'm assuming he meant World War III. He said that he ran against President Obama. He never ran against President Obama. He says that I'm the one that kept security from the Capitol on January 6th. I was nowhere near the Capitol on January 6th. But Margaret...
That's such a weird way to explain that I wasn't in charge of security. Like, I wasn't even close by. That kind of keeps the door open to the notion that it might have been your job, you know? Like if someone said, "Hey, Hank, I heard you were really funny in Washington, D.C." And I said, "I was in Sedona, Arizona, whipping up vortexes out of love." But I don't think I tracked that one very well. No, you say, "I don't know what the hell that was never my job. I had nothing to do with security there." It's very weird.
You don't be surprised if you have someone that's...
By the way, the coup, the insurrection, there's absolutely all kinds of stuff behind the scenes. I guarantee you that it was related to Trump making sure that there weren't going to be enough people there to protect it. You know how many fucking cops show up if a few left-wing protesters assemble somewhere? Look what's going on in outside Atlanta, Georgia, in the Stop Cop City movement. Any Black Lives Matter protests. The cops will fucking turn up in all kinds of riot gear, all kinds of phalanxes and cavalry. They will pull out no shortage of violence, of state violence against left-wingers or peaceful protests. But this whole thing, then this was known to be happening. There's I hope to see the conspiracies if our society survives long enough to make documentaries and finally get some answers to this whole thing. Let's listen to more of this BS.
80 in office. Their mental stability is going to continue to decline. That's just human nature. We know that. What I'm saying is, first of all, you're talking about somebody who's only going to be in office 4 years. Secondly, you're talking about someone who continues to, I mean, look, I don't know if he was confused. I don't know what happened, but it should be enough to send us a warning sign that if you look Joe Biden, he's very different than he was 2 years ago. Are we really going to go into a situation where we have wars around the world and we're trying to prevent war, and we're going to have someone who we can or can't be sure that they're going to get confused? It's a real issue. That's not being disrespectful.
We need a genocidal leader who takes confident steps. All right? Not this Joe Biden stuff. Yeah, so, okay, good luck to you, Nikki. I hope you beat him. Joe Biden came out. President of the United States of the country. My dad drove cars before they were invented. He and I graduated from the Fast Times at Ridgemont High. It's a good movie. Bo, where's Bo? Bo. That's a sad one. Nikki Haley here is getting the little claws come out. The axes are flying from Joe to Nikki. He has a tweet. He writes, "I don't agree with Nikki Haley on everything, but we agree on this much. She is not Nancy Pelosi." Well written, not a wasted word. Nicely written. Joe Biden did not write that tweet.
Last night, Trump is at a rally.
You know, Nikki Haley Nikki Haley.
And he's going on and on mentioning me multiple times as to why I didn't handle January 6th better.
Nikki Haley is in charge of security. We offered her 10,000 people. They don't want to talk about that.
I wasn't in office
That line,
then.
no one wants to talk about that. Like, that narcissists use that all the time. Everybody, that whole thing of appealing to the masses, they're actually pinging your collective impulses. You have this deeply, deeply, deeply rooted millions of years back, far beyond Homo sapiens, far beyond the human being, to be in a collective, in a little group of animals that are bonded and dialed in on each other. And so when they say everybody knows that, nobody knows that, they knew that, that's an appeal to your collective instincts, because it's consensus. It's just pinging your little consensus instinct. That's so obvious stuff that you see all the time. But you see any person on the news, I probably tend into that every once in a while, maybe too. I often say words that I don't even realize I'm saying. But I try to be conscious of appealing to that notion. And Trump is a master of doing that. Unfortunately, he's got the world's dumbest fucking population that fall for it, that don't see through it. But you'll see it all over the place, though. Once you look for the everybody knows that, nobody knows that, it's incredibly easy to spot. I know that's pretty sophisticated political analysis from me. Like and subscribe.
They're saying
Everybody likes and subscribe. Nobody knows that you shouldn't like and subscribe.
he got confused.
You have voter ID to buy a loaf of bread. You have ID to buy a loaf of bread. What? I'm driving over a road where it's almost all paper. And you can see paper. I know paper. I know cans. But all the time now we see whales washing up on shore because of the wind. Our veterans don't have cell phones, do they?
He got confused. He got confused and said he was running against Obama. He never ran against Obama.
And we did with Obama. We won an election that everyone said couldn't be won.
Obama he doesn't want to talk about it.
Well, you mean President Biden. So,
Don't put our country at risk like this.
I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.
That's dangerous stuff, man. Look at Joe Biden with his old smile and his... Actually, let me start that over. Look at Joe Biden here with his old body and his 20-year-old smile. His teeth are young. His teeth are not as old as he is, I'm sure. Good messaging. It's obviously if you have the running against Donald Trump, you should be able to just absolutely wallop that motherfucker because he's a terrifying piece of shit. Except you're putting up the guy that can easily lose to him. Although it's fair to point out that Joe Biden has already beaten him once. Nevertheless, that wasn't because of Joe Biden beating him. That was because COVID kept Joe Biden off the campaign trail, and people didn't actually ever get exposed to him and how terrible he is 4 years ago. 3-something years. Well, yeah, during the campaign. So people voted against Trump. I voted against Trump. That's the whole reason Joe Biden had any fucking chance of getting in there. And they're absolutely recklessly going for it again these days, particularly now that he's a genocidal fucking maniac who's killing children by the thousands. People aren't going to forget that. People have a short memory for most things. You could even forgive a guy who threw an axe at you, perhaps. But murdering children of any kind, in any level, it's just fucking irresponsible. And so when she ended this video, the Biden team chose to end it with this quote. Let's play it.
So,
Don't put our country at risk like this.
I'm Joe Biden.
Don't put our country at risk. So what about I don't know if it'll show up here, but I tweeted it. Nobody else. I thought I tweeted the comment that the notion of not putting our country at risk, I'm not quoting it, but the thought here, Jesus Christ, why am I trying to... Joe Biden's putting our country at risk by killing children, by helping start World War III with Israel, and this fucking insanity that's going on in Gaza. You don't think there's going to be blowback to that? You don't think you're not setting off, you're just utterly like sustaining the cycles of violence? It's actually stunning that there hasn't been other major attacks, let alone even small attacks. You know how easy it would be to freak a fucking American society out with a slightly coordinated thing, a couple of devices in a couple different cities at once? It'd be nothing, and we would go absolutely batshit bonkers. It's kind of amazing that more of that hasn't happened. We're not known for our restraint when it comes to violence or nuance. Look, we have a gift of Nancy Pelosi. Ooh, girl, checking her nails. Slay Queen, get him. I hate fucking hate Nancy Pelosi. You're not invited to Sedona, Arizona, Nancy Pelosi. So, I think this is a thing that Trump put out. Here's a tweet from Broseph Stalin. Good name. Haha, must be a descendant of Ambrose. Haha, I'm actually dead. Trump just posted this on Truth Social. How are Democrats running this guy, the butcher of Gaza?
At White House Senior Living, our residents feel right at home. Our vibrant facility offers delightful activities and outings, round-the-clock professional care, and
Wife helping him put on his coat.
house-made meals.
Well, I've been eating everything that's put in front of me. I've been eating all Italian foods, basically.
And ice cream.
And ice cream, chocolate chip ice cream.
White House Senior Living, where residents feel like presidents.
Okay. Got the old-timey kind of filter on there. That's working, I think. It seems like, I guess. Yeah, with these shots. I do like the opening shot here. This is a very easy sort of thing to make. By the way, all these graphics, that's my fucking jam, man. I could do all these graphics. Easy. Ain't no nothing to it. But I do respect this choice as a video maker, though. That's the kind of just sitting there looking listless and breathing with his weird mullet old man head.
Our vibrant facility offers delightful activities and outings, round-the-clock professional care, and exquisite house-made meals.
House-made meals. That's the thing. Okay, good. So yeah, they're running this old guy. I mean, the guy he's running against is also his age. Trump is a fucking. I think I can't believe this is the society. Here's a video of just a cool thing. It looks like Sauron's eye or some kind of cool eyeball thing. But this is from Wonder of Science. Incredible close-up of view of sunspot the size of Earth on the surface of the sun, filmed by a Swedish 1-meter solar telescope. Sunspots are regions of the reduced surface temperatures caused by intense magnetic fields. Love it. Look at that. Oh yeah, baby. It's good audio here, huh? Are you enjoying it? It's just a really cool thing. Just picture a huge yellow eyeball with a black iris and different colors of orange and yellow. Pretty fun. Like that. The sun is a very interesting place. It'd be nice to visit someday. I bet the rent is probably cheaper. Okay. Oh yeah, this guy, I'm not a sports guy. I pick up on sports clips here and there. I was actually fairly coordinated as a child. I guess his name is Gigi Jackson, youngest player in the NBA. I looked it up. He's born on 2004. My God. I've had erections older than that. Sorry, Gigi, I didn't mean to spoil your beautiful little story. So he was filmed. So he's new, rookie, looks like, young kid, looks cool. You know, God, what a life. That pro athlete, there's got to be nothing like setting out that first few years of your first career, especially that first freshman, especially when you're really a prospect and that you know you're going to kind of stick it out. Then of course, you're scared of injury. It's always devastating for these guys to lose their money because once you're useless to capital, they'll just fucking boot you out. Go be a coach, piece of shit. Get the hell out of here. Community college is hiring now that you limp. We're not going to make money off you, which I get. What are you going to do? Put a guy who limps on the court? It's professionals. Gigi Jackson, though, I retweeted this. It's just such a sweet little moment. He's born in 2004, so he's 20 years old. It's so crazy. You'll see. It's 15 seconds.
Gigi, Shaq here. I don't have any questions. I just want to say congratulations, young fella. You played a hell of a game, and if people didn't know who you were, they know who you are now. I'm so proud of you. Congratulations on being ready, brother.
Well, yes, sir, it's an honor to get to hear your voice. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
That just watch his face.
I don't have any questions. I just want to say congratulations.
Just to have like just that, like Shaq is a legend, man. I mean, just a broadcasting, he's incredibly well known. I mean, his star wouldn't have faded had he not also been a huge broadcaster because he does sports broadcasting. What a nice retirement, not retirement, but it's a nice. All these pro guys have great careers. He's way beyond that. He's so far. I knew a guy that was a professional hockey player. And he was still involved with all the player associations and stuff. And like from the 70s. So he was from a different era. And yeah, it's a huge deal to be. But Shaq is, of course, like, Michael Jordan level kind of guy. And this dude, Shaq's career started in 1992. So this guy was born in 2000. Shaq was 12 years in when this guy was born. I don't know when Shaq's career, he played for the Celtics in 2010. So this kid was probably, 6 years. So he was probably watching TV by the age of 6, obviously. But yeah, he's even younger almost. But Shaq is such a that's such a cool thing to watch him react like that, to be in the level where you suddenly there's Shaq. Hey man, I just like to have Shaq in your ear. That must be awesome. I just really just, I love, you could just feel the joy and feel the feeling here, because this kind of thing happens once in your life.
Questions, I just want to say congratulations, young fella.
Just say something nice. It's not, he's like, Gigi, I just want to tell you that I'm having a hard time finding the download link that my wife sent me because I got to get this app installed. It's just, Gigi, do you know anything about Android? No, but Shaq has a lot of fun. I see a lot of clips of him and Charles Barkley being funny, and there's those other guys that aren't nearly as charismatic as those two, and they have fun. I just love that moment. I thought that was really sweet. Nice little bit in the world. What a moment. Oh, here's another legend. Joe Biden, the applesauce butcher, one of the most violent humans in history. Now, there's a lot of competition. Certainly not even in the top 10. But as far as Americans who are running for president currently, he's killed far more children than Donald Trump has. Joe says, "Hey, big head. Hey, big head." That's how he would say that. If you order a sign from our campaign store, you could receive one signed by me. You do use the word sign twice. I know it's different usages of the word, but that's still no. I know. So he's selling large heads of himself. This is what the liberals think is going to get us over the hump. Someone put an AI squirrel. Okay, I don't know. Let's click on this.
I'm autographing some of these. And once I'm done here, these signed versions will be tossed into circulation in our
Look at him. Look at his forehead all scrunched up because he's got to keep the epicanthic folds off his fucking slabby old eyes, sloughing off this zombie. This guy's got this complete zombie face underneath all that taut skin of his.
Store. It means anyone who orders one of these signs has a chance of getting theirs signed, sealed, and delivered. Get your own yard sign now.
Get your own yard sign now. Joe Biden.
I'm autographing some of these.
I'm autographing some of these. So you got to talk like this. So my teeth are going to fall out. I don't know if those are dentures. You get implants, right? Implants stay in there for a while. I don't know. Nightmare Society. Thanks, Joe. Fucking jag off. Oh, I'll do this a different day, I think, if I remember to get back to it. Adam Conover, you guys know, friend of the show. LA's finest. I actually think the guy's an amazing communicator. There's a reason he's had a pretty good career, doing TV and stuff. And he was instrumental with the strike actions and communicating that and being very front and public about it. So he's a good follow. Got some good, actually he had an interview with Cory Doctorow on his show on YouTube. He does these like YouTube stuff, plugs his shows, does some ads, very good career kind of thing. Not the way I would do it. I would have fucking messy podcasts sporadically. Come on, you idiot. No, I would love to have a chat with this dude about some stuff. I'd ask him, maybe some interesting questions. But really smart guy. And so this whole deal with the ridiculousness on MTV, we'll get maybe more into it, like I said, but well, fuck it. We'll just play this video. This guy, Rob Dyrdek, I guess this is like the biggest show. I used to know of the show. I don't know anything about TV anymore. It's been years. I watched Star Trek on Amazon Prime because I have to fall asleep to the soothing sounds of Star Trek, guys. I've seen every episode dozens of times. It's because otherwise my thoughts take over, and that's actually really hard for me to sleep. And I should read myself to sleep. That does actually work, kind of. So these people, this guy's worth hundreds of millions of dollars, and it dominates the MTV schedule, and the writers are all working like side jobs, and they're the ones producing all the content. Just insane. And they're fighting this. There's a union action, the Writer Guild, WGA West. I don't know all the details. That's why I was kind of hesitant to get into it. I did like this one. Here, let's click play from the Writers Guild of America and see what they say.
Hi, this is the writers from Ridiculousness.
Oh, sorry, text. On January 4th, 2024, the Writers of Ridiculousness asked host and executive producer Rob Dyrdek for his support for a fair contract. Union busting scumbags, man. You're trying to take away people's civil rights, trying to take away their constitutional rights.
Hi, my name is Ryan Connor. I am here along with my fellow writers at Rob's offices because we just wanted to ask him for his support in our efforts to get our first union contract.
tried to go up.
Travis Fields, it said.
Oh, gotcha.
Sorry.
Oh, no, that's okay. We called, we left a message, nobody answered.
Hi, this is the writers from Ridiculousness. We are here in the ground floor of the building just to ask if we could maybe talk to Rob for a few minutes to ask for his support.
We love Ridiculousness. We want this
Lauren
show
Blackwell, 2 years. It says writer, a Ridiculousness writer for 2
to
years.
continue on for years to come. We just would like to be compensated fairly.
With the kind of industry standards.
Brandon Vaughn, 10 years. This show's been around a long time.
Of pay rates and healthcare and benefits.
When we started working for the show, we were doing 30 episodes a season. Now we're doing, or a year. Now we're doing 336.
We work hard. We do a
Greg Edwards, writer, Ridiculous, 4 years.
great job. This is one of Viacom's MTV's hit shows.
Ridiculousness has been a huge...
Allie Maynard. Actually, I've seen her. She's a Twitter. I didn't know she was on that. Ridiculousness writer, 4 years. She's good on Twitter. I think I might have even referenced one of her tweets once before on the show.
Success. We just want a piece of that success. If Rob were to
Stephanie McCann, 2 years.
recognize our desire for a fair contract and to recognize our union, that would mean a lot to us. Like, it would mean everything. All we're looking for is a fair deal.
We work very hard. We put out a great product, and we deserve it. Hopefully we can get your support, Rob.
Yeah, Rob, I know you're watching. Unlike and unsubscribe, scumbag. We have no quarter for union busting scumbags around here. We don't do that. You're a rotten person. Not okay. These people, like, it was so crazy. It finishes with Rob Dyrdek, supporter fair contract for Ridiculousness writers. What do they? I don't know what they're asking for. I'm sure it's not all of it. People, whenever these negotiations happen, they're immensely reasonable. It just feels like a threat because it means it's a loss of control for the people at the top, and they have to fight it. And they're going to pump money and all kinds of cash into their consultants and their law firms that help them. And it's one of the scummiest things you can do. It's some of the scummiest work in the world are union busting consultants and lawyers. Scumbag of the fucking planet. That and health insurance executives. And Joe Biden, and big polluters, people that just start doing all that kind of stuff, all in service of what? But in this kind of case, it's so clear. Why would these people? But like Rob, you would benefit from your workers feeling better and not working side jobs. These people work. A lot of those writers are out there working other jobs, working full time on a hit TV show that's been around for years, that's generated hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue, probably incredibly. I don't know enough about it. Maybe I'm wrong, but there's probably a lot of virality, off-air, off-broadcast potential for these shows too, for the content these people are making. And they're screwing. Look, here's the schedule. Adam Conover. Yes, you read that right. These writers produce 336 episodes of television every year. That's because the show is so successful. MTV recently ordered 1,000 new episodes. Ridiculousness now makes up the majority MTV's entire schedule. All that shit there. Ridiculous. All of it says ridiculous. The orange color. To produce nearly as many episodes in a year as there are days in a year, these writers work insanely tight schedules. Each of them is responsible for writing, producing, and editing an entire episode of television in a week. It's a crushing workload. That's how I describe having sex with me. This lucrative show wouldn't be funny or even producible without the work of these talented comedy writers, but they receive only a fraction of the wages WGA offered writers on similar shows do. Most can't afford health care, and they receive no residuals of any kind. See, aside from the absurdity that they should have to afford any health care, that health care should involve money, once you introduce money into the exchange, you introduce stress into the exchange, which is a takeaway from your body's ability to recover and feel okay. The fact that we burden ourselves with that. I don't know how we don't win this argument just on the stress factor alone on its own. But all that sources back to is leverage. Everything you ever hear about labor, all the stuff you hear about the bosses being shitty, the details matter. It's important to get into the weeds and stuff. But ultimately, the flow chart always points back to leverage. The concept that when you're sitting there saying yes or no to something, you get to demand more if you have higher leverage, and you increase your leverage when you have less stress or more backup from your community, from other people standing around you. When we started the Union of the Young Turks, that's what it was about. we needed leverage to change our working conditions. And so the only way to achieve that, because none of us could do it on our own, I was trying, I was complaining constantly, but none of us could do it on our own. And so we had to secretly form a union there. That's what we did. And it worked. I got fired before the union came forward, and I didn't end up in the union. My hope was actually, well, I wanted to make TYT better and stronger and get paid and be able to do, justify the effort I was giving the company for all the various reasons and stuff. But I would have also been grateful to have the union card, so I have an unsigned one here somewhere around here. So I could maybe find other union work, because even at that rate, we weren't going to get like massive rates. We were going to get a little pay, I would assume. I don't know. Anyway, so I've experienced this exact kind of thing, not precisely these writers, but starting a union, man. And of course, we did it in secret because we knew Cenk Uygur wasn't going to like it. That's one of those things about that story. It's like, oh, wait, why was it not his idea? Why did you guys have to do it in secret? But I don't know. Crazy stuff. Okay, so continuing this story I wasn't going to do. Some writers have been forced to take a second job. Like, no one should ever have to take a second job. That's insane. Honestly, no one should ever have to have a fucking job. I don't think you can. I know people hear that and they go, oh my God, he thinks zero work ever. That's not at all the point. The point is we force people. The whole point of this rotten society is to compel people to perform labor for motherfuckers who don't have their best interests in mind. And we can change that equation by converting the concept of work into in my opinion, and I don't think you flip a switch for this, into the concept of service and strengthening community and strengthening yourself, which means that you're operating both with responsibility to your own needs and as a responsibility to the world in which you operate and live. Because I don't want to be fucking stressed out by other people. That's part of my whole thing, is I'm so like emotionally radar tuned in to others. Whether I'm right or wrong, my body generates the emotions, whether I'm accurate or not. And I am fairly accurate about it, actually, I would say. No wonder my beard fell out. Some writers have been forced to take a second job, even though they already work full time. Seems to me that if you write and produce, like, second jobs should all be voluntary in the world. If that's what you want. You want to go off and work at Denny's, get into fights at Waffle House because you're done with your corporate gig. Okay, great. Free country. Who's going to stop you there? But people are not doing this shit because they want to. They're doing it because the maw of coercion will chew you into bits if you don't. And then everything's getting more and more and more expensive. I hope we're reaching a point, though, where things tip towards, wait a minute, there's more of us than you motherfuckers, and we got to change things substantially. Although, depending on how fast you change things, we call that a revolution. That can be very costly, for sure, and doesn't happen quickly. And there's no switches to flip, unfortunately. Sorry, I keep getting distracted. Seems to me that if you write and produce an entire episode of an ultra successful TV show every week, that should at least pay your basic expenses. But on Ridiculousness, it doesn't. Last year, the writers of Ridiculousness took the brave step of voting to join the WGA West. In response, the company took away their holiday bonuses and year-end raises. TYT did that. There's an article in These Times about having their bonuses and raises paused. They eventually did after the NLRB got involved. But yeah, they did eventually do it. But during the union busting at TYT, they stopped bonuses and raises for the people in the bargaining unit. It's fucking scum, man. It's just rotten shit. And the company's lawyers still haven't responded to the writers' bargaining proposals, so they're getting stonewalled by the lawyers. These are professional comedy writers who work their asses off to make you laugh and whose work makes the bosses millions. They deserve your health care. They deserve health care, retirement, fair wages, and residuals, just like every other comedy writer doing the same work. Yeah, getting a completely different benefits thing than others doing the same work is just ghastly. The fairness. We're fairness monkeys. We're the fairness monkeys. And also, we're strong because you're strong. I'm safe when you're safe. I'm okay when you're okay. I have this concept of doing a show or a book or some sort of, if I ever pull my shit together. And I think this is one of the more doable ones of the ideas I have. Unlike my idea about doing a documentary about entropy as a lens for examining the labor movement through the lens of entropy. I'm tired of all the same old bullshit I actually want to approach it. I want to try to find a different way up the mountain, you know? What the fuck was I just saying? I want to do a thing called socialism for selfish pricks like you and me. Let's stop trying to persuade. I mean, there's plenty of people out there persuading the bleeding hearts and the people who are already kind of trending towards the universal dignity mindset that underpins this thing, the frustration with the way the world is. But there's also a lot of people who are just fucking selfish, particularly in the selfish United States of America, where we're trained to be consumers. We're trained to dismiss the pain of other people. So let's do a project where we talk about selfishness. Let's say validate the selfishness. I'm not saying encourage it, but that's at least a starting point for every conversation in this idea. And then we talk about why helping that guy down the street who's struggling makes you safer. You don't have to help him because you care about him, but it's important. We should help him because it costs less money for everybody and it makes you safer. I'm so fucking sick of living around people who I don't know how desperate they are. I want to minimize that, if not eliminate it. Let's keep going though here. Thanks, Adam Conover. Appreciate your tweets here, buddy. Here's how you can help. Tweet at Ridiculousness and Rob Dyrdek and ask them to give their writers a fair contract. Now, use the hashtags #Ridiculousness and #WGA Strong. Thank you for your support. And he left out a photo. Look at these sweetie peaties putting up their fist, saying, give us a union, bitches. I got a bullhorn. Wonderful photo. And then I did why do I feel like it's a privacy violation to show the ones I liked? Not a privacy, but it just feels weird to me. Rob, this is Morgan Murphy. Really funny, really smart, really good egg on Twitter and stuff. Have I seen her live? No. Yeah, no, I have not. Rob is likely worth hundreds of, but she's been around LA. She's been at it quite a while. I know she's written on a ton of stuff. So very, very, very good. Rob is likely worth hundreds of millions and is proudly vocal about aspiring to be a billionaire. His entire personal brand outside of TV is about growing and accumulating wealth. His writers deserve a long overdue fair contract. Insane. Guy's going to be a billionaire off of the work of these people. All this money. And they won't, it's just freaking crazy. He'll still have all this ascendancy. He's still going to be an ascended being if they gave the writers what they want. But they have to keep that squeeze on, because once you relent a little bit, once your victim starts to sort of loosen the vice, you know, the spinny vice with the spindle, the big bolt thing. I have one on my balcony in my woodworking shop that I can't use anymore. Once you loosen that, it gets easier to loosen. That's what they're afraid of. They got to keep the vice squeezing. I'm talking Joe Pesci. You made me pop your fucking eyeballs out for Jimmy Gagoogas. For Jimmy fucking Gagoogas. He gets mad at him because this guy's not high enough. Goodfellas or Casino or something. I don't know which one I'm talking about. He puts a dude's head in a vice and then he squeezes it till his eyeballs start to pop out. Pretty good acting. And the guy finally, he's torturing him to get information. And but then he's mad at him because the guy he was protecting is like it's not a high enough status to justify that kind of violence. It's a great way to react. But once they loosen the vice, though, they can't loosen it, because once you get a little grip, what's happening? Leverage is increasing. Now you can stand up a little bit more. You got to put up with less shit. The boss isn't going to be, and I don't know, I'm not making any claims about ridiculousness or whatever, or any bosses, but the bosses can't pull the crap that they can pull. It's not just about that 3 or 4 year contract cycle. Precisely. It's very much partially, but it's also about daily regulation of tone and approach and mentality. And so it feels like you're taking power from crazed maniacs, which is why the tendency in humans, and I don't think it's actually true about human nature, but in the terms of the kind of organizational structures we have now, we tend to pick sociopaths and maniacs and psychos to be in charge. Generally, not all of them, but there's a high propensity or a high proportion of the population of sociopaths in the leadership of our current systems, because these are built around abusing and dominating and domination subjugation hierarchies. So that's how, naturally, of course, it's how it's going to be. A more democratically accountable leadership system would be far less abusive, and that's a restriction. on people who understand other human beings as something to be used, as a human is a resource to be sourced, to be harvested from. Human resources. Really nailed it there, Kelly. Oh, I just tweeted this one. Cody Johnston on the Some More News podcast. Great show. Good listen. I actually prefer the podcast over the show. I find the show a little bit aggressive. Not that that's a bad style. They've got a big audience, but they do a show called Some More News. There's the podcast. I like Katie Stoll. I think she has a very lovely tone to her voice. And I find that when I get annoyed with that podcast because they're so afraid of being sincere. I like when they just stay. I mean, they're good people. I can tell they're nice folks. They don't set off any of my radar mojo. It's all good. I'd love to have a chat with them. Hey guys, you're welcome to come on my show. 206 subscribers, maybe, probably not that high. More videos than subscribers. How's that sound? No, really good show though. They do really thorough stuff. I get so bored with comedy. It's not that they're bad at it. They have a really loyal audience, but I've seen so much fucking comedy. It doesn't do anything for me. I do have, they're great. This is worth watching, the wage theft one. And I just tweeted out this picture. Wage theft is a huge problem in America. I just like the graphic. 3D, you get that extrusion. Not bad. Not bad. You got to change your rendering engine in After Effects in order to get that kind of stuff. Oh yeah. Sorry. Geez, I'm just going for it, aren't I? Where are we at? Almost 2 hours. Wow, this is a short one. This tweet didn't get any attention whatsoever. It was just totally fine. I'm used to that. That's all. That's how everything always works for me. But I saw Caddyshack, and I hadn't seen it in years. Kind of interesting to go back. Also incredibly lonely. Would love to do this with one of my Vortex brides, but not going to happen. Not until wrist braces make a comeback. He says, Rodney Dangerfield, this is one of his star-making roles, although I don't know how famous he was before this, but this is a huge role. This movie is a legendary movie in comedy, as far as I could tell. I caddied as a kid. I'm a Midwestern white fuckface, so I'm probably biased towards shows about entitled white assholes, but there's a lot of class politics going on here. That's kind of interesting. And I didn't pick up on, I didn't like grab that for the podcast, but I did like these screenshots. He says the funniest thing about Albert Einstein. I thought other people would like this. He describes Albert Einstein as, he made a fortune in physics. That's such a funny way to describe Albert Einstein, that he chose an industry and he really did well. He made a fortune in physics. That's so perfect. It's right within his character. It's so stupid, but it's also kind of smart to say it like that. It's just, I love it. So because he has this auto putting thing with these cheesy graphics. So he's going, Albert Einstein gave me this, And there's a really bad graphic here, like of this kind of like old timey sort of radar-y thing. Yeah, nice man, nice man. Beep, 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 beep. Then he tells him when to hit the orange ball, and he hits it. He made a fortune in physics. It's just, I just love that. I loved it. Oh, I have this one here twice. That's the guy that talked to Shaq. So, all right, guys, look, it's 10:30 p.m. I've been talking, including the I don't know where I'm going to put that. The Valheim one I did with my roommate. Boy, he told a real story at the end. Gee, he had a grandma that would hug him, but she would burn his back with the cigarettes in her hand. It's like, what? Oh man. So yeah, that's an interesting way to end it. But we had a fun time in the game. I love that game. One of my dreams is to find enough people that want to do a Valheim thing and play the game and run around and have fun with each other, because I do love the building, and it is for me, I love the 3D building stuff. I like the construction part of it, and the adventuring is fun too. But doing all that with other people and seeing what they build and helping them do stuff would be really cool, I think. There's a whole fishing thing in the game. I want to get all the fish, but I'm hardly playing. I take Rocket League breaks when I'm editing, just to get up and get some exercise, because I need breaks. But I haven't really been diving into that, and I'm probably not going to be doing much gaming. I want to get into Baldur's Gate 3. There's shit tons of games, man. Although my machine doesn't handle, I think it would do Baldur's Gate pretty well. I'm loving my computer. It's holding up really well, but it's about 7 or 8 years old. It's kind of old. It's working good for editing. But like in terms of gaming, like I want to play Red Dead Redemption 2, which I've played on a good lot of it on like whatever the fuck, Xbox or PS5 or maybe. But like my dream is to have a life where I am working on stuff and I have like things happening and money coming in and a thing, but so I can enjoy relaxing more, you know. And like I would love to have like a kick-ass computer and be able to like really enjoy the full breadth and depth of Red Dead Redemption 2, which I think is one of the best video games of all time. I think it's a masterpiece of art in terms of how much a video game is, and we should be considering it art because the amount of effort and creative strength and energy, time, talent, and labor that goes into video game production amounts to art. Different than Monet, for sure. Even different than Yo-Yo Ma, who is art. Not as good as Christina Perri's 1,000 Years, which is the greatest song of all time. Second greatest, actually. Call Me Maybe is better, but still. Red Dead Redemption 2 is where, like, how movies, not all movies, I mean, I think it's fair to say they're all art, but like some movies become masterpieces, you know, like the one where he squeezes the guy's eyeballs out of his head in a metal vise. See, they're not really woodworking. It wasn't a woodworking vise. It was the other more classic kind of vise that you're probably picturing, the metal one with the metal grips. But, yeah, what am I getting at? I don't know what the fuck I'm trying to get at. I want to watch Andor again. That'd be cool. All right, well, that's all I got, guys. I'm done. Wasn't even planning on doing a show tonight. I stink, honestly. It's been a couple days. I'm gross. I'm gonna shower, and I'll get to work editing this crap in the morning. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate the kindness that's out there. If you can offer some in the form of maybe you know somebody in Los Angeles who needs to adopt an autistic guy who wants to go get food for the collective. I can advise on fixing the fence. No, but yeah, you know, if there's actually any real help with the cat, somebody please help me if I haven't already gotten rid of the cat by now. It's just, there's so many people who want cats. There's definitely people who want cats, and this cat's so freaking cute and nice, and she would fit right in. I don't know how well she would do with other cats. My guess is she would do really well. I feel like she has a disposition, but it has to be with other cool cats. You know, it can't be some bully, some piece of shit cat. You know, don't be mean to my cat. She's sweet. You also be sweet, and now you're adorable, cute little kitty cats that wear each other. Honestly, the fucking solution to my problem is I should probably get another cat. What if that's what I decided? Every time I come back, I have another cat, and they're just tired, and then I wouldn't be so stressed out. It's fine. Everything's going to work out, except for my face and my body hair. That's clearly not. Clearly not. So, yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah, human potential. Real great. Good night, everybody. Thank you again. Bye. I'm done. See ya. That's it. I gotta go. I gotta fucking go. Bye.